Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Many of you have been asking for a beginner's course, and I've created a 9-week course now that is available through my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com. I'll put the link in the description box below specifically for the course called Iyengar Yoga Basics. Today I'm sharing an excerpt from one of those classes. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's take our mat to the wall, and we'll stand with our back to the wall, feet together. You can give yourself 1 or 2 centimeters between the wall and your heels, and as I said last week, if you've got a skirting board, that should be enough distance. Legs together, feet together. Peel the toes up so that you feel your kneecaps are gripping. Press the thighs back to the wall and press then all the toes down. But see if you can keep the kneecaps gripped, keep the quadriceps gripped. Draw the buttock flesh down the wall. If it helps you, bend the knees a little bit, draw the buttock flesh down, and then when you straighten the legs, the wall will help to drag the buttock flesh down. That just helps to lengthen the tailbone down, helps to lengthen the lower back. But then bring in the tone of the lower abdomen. The pubis to navel lifts up, front pelvic bones lift so that you're toning the muscles and the organs. Because what we do in our yoga asanas will be working on the organic body as well as the musculoskeletal body. Pin the shoulder tips back to the wall, back of the hands, fingernails to the wall, the back of the head to the wall. We're using the wall for our alignment. Then bring your arms forward and up. The palms face each other. Bring the thumb side back to the wall and squeeze the elbow tips in. The elbows are straight. Then lift up through the sides of the waist. Imagine your arms are beginning at the waist. Lift up, side waist, lift up the rib cage. Lengthen the armpit chest. Now that's the area here just below the armpits. Lift and lengthen the armpit chest. Then exhale, arms forward and down. Now the next pose we're going to learn, we're still going to use the wall for support. The back body is going to be leaning into the wall. However, the feet will be stepping further away from the wall. Step forward, and we can have our feet hip width for this so that we're working with a bit more stability. When you bend the knees though, try to keep your knees tracking the same direction as the toes. So you're not letting the knees roll in, you're not letting the knees roll out, and certainly you're not turning the feet out. Feet pointing forward, knees pointing forward, and at this stage, we're bringing the thighs to the diagonal. So it's not so hard to sustain. And the knees are stacked vertically top the ankles. Don't have your feet too close to the wall because you'll find that your thighs start burning very quickly and you might feel a strain there and it's harder to hold. Take your feet forward enough. Knees are vertically top the ankles. Set your back against the wall and just notice if there's a strong lumbar lordosis. For some of us, we do have a natural lordosis that's very strong. It's quite accentuated. What we want to do here is diminish that. So can you curl your tailbone and your sit bones under to your knees and lift the navel, draw the navel back towards the back abdominal wall. So then your lumbar spine touches the wall if possible. And the lower back ribs are broadening to the wall. Back of the hands to the wall. And the shoulder tips press back to the wall. Back of the head to the wall. And then we can come out of the pose and rest the legs for a moment. Now, when I say back of the head to the wall, if you have a rounded upper back and your shoulders don't come back to the wall very easily, and you try and take your head back, then all you're going to be doing is shortening the back of the neck and opening the throat. We actually want to try and lengthen the back of the neck as we bring the shoulder tips back to the wall. And that's the case for Tadasana as well, yes, when we're standing in mountain pose. Now we're going to see if we can intensify that pose, bending the knees. We call it a variation of Utkatasana, which is the fierce pose. Some people refer to it as the chair pose because obviously we look like a chair. But the interpretation is the fierce pose. If you're feeling strong, we descend the hips a little more so the thighs come more parallel to the floor. Again, set yourself, lean into the wall. As you bend the knees, then if you're wanting to go down lower, then you'll need to step your feet further out so that your knees come vertically top the ankles, your thighs come parallel to the floor. Now, we may not be able to hold this for as long, so let's see how we go. Draw your front pelvic bones up, lift the navel up and draw it back to the back abdominal wall as you bring your lumbar spine back to the wall. Broaden the lower back ribs to the wall. Pin the shoulder tips back to the wall and back of the hands, fingernails to the wall if possible. Breathe smoothly. And you just set your gaze. So you keep your eyes at eye level. Set your gaze on one point. Soften your gaze and steady your breath. And then we can come out of the pose. Give the legs a bit of a rest. We talk about the gaze. In yoga, it's known as drishti. And when we're doing some of these asanas, they can be quite challenging, especially if we're holding for periods of time, which we do tend to do in Iyengar Yoga. There are a few hallmarks that can define Iyengar Yoga, and one is holdings. We might hold the poses for set periods of time, and we do that to not only challenge ourselves physically, but to bring in more awareness of what's going on mentally, because we are inevitably going to come up against some reactivity. If, let's say for that pose, we're in the pose, we want to try and hold it, developing our strength, developing our technique. We're going to come up against this point where we feel like, okay, that's it, that's enough, I've had enough. But if we try and stay, then we need to let go of that feeling of I want out. And so we use the gaze, we soften the gaze, and we use the breath so that we can stay and we can feel a little more at ease in the challenge of the pose. Let's do that one more time. As you slide down the wall, step your feet forward enough. Now, if it's really intense with your thighs parallel to the wall, come up a little bit higher. Do make sure your knees track the same direction as the feet. Yeah, knees not rolling in, not rolling out. Draw your sit bones under to the knees so that your lower back touches the wall. Navel up and back to the back abdominal wall. Then pin your shoulder tips back to the wall, back of the hands to the wall. Then set your gaze. Soften your facial muscles. Relax the jaw. Make sure your teeth are apart. And breathe smoothly. And then you can come up and out of the pose. Now, while we're at the wall, let's do Ardha Uttanasana, the half intense stretch pose. We did this last week. Face the wall, bring the hands on the wall about your lower rib height, shoulder width hands, and then walk back. As you walk back, you create a straight line, hopefully, from your wrists through your shoulders to your hips, and then a straight line from your hips to your heels. I mentioned this last week. If you are really supple, watch that you're not overdoing and digging the lumbar spine in. So we're hardening there. Some of us, we need to actually draw the sit bones down to the heels just to ease off from hardening that lower back. Others, we need to work more to lift the buttocks. So for example, if you're stiff and that lower back is rounding, we need to work either more lift in the sitting bones if you can, or if it's really impossible because you feel really stiff, walk your hands up the wall a little bit more. So you find your way. Lengthen the back of the thighs by lifting the sitting bones. Press the thighs back. The head of the thigh, the part of the thigh closest to the torso, press them back so that you feel your abdomen lengthen, your chest lengthen, sides of the waist lengthen. Armpit chest lengthens. And then you can bend your knees, look forward, step forward, and stand up. In this course, each week builds on the last, so you always know what to practice and why. You'll be guided slowly, clearly, and safely without overwhelm. You don't need to be flexible, you don't need experience, you start exactly where you are. And you might be wondering, why Iyengar Yoga? Iyengar Yoga is a method that is designed for learning. It's slow, precise, and progressive. Rather than rushing through poses, we focus on alignment, awareness, and clear instruction. Props like blocks, belts, chairs, and the wall are used intelligently, not because something is too hard, but because they help your body understand the action of each pose safely and effectively. You learn how to stand, move, and breathe with clarity. You hold poses for specific timings, repeat actions to build strength and understanding, and follow sequences that prepare your body step by step. This approach doesn't just make yoga accessible, it makes it transformative. Over time, this way of practicing builds strength, mobility, balance, and confidence. It supports your joints, your nervous system, and your ability to age well. And perhaps most importantly, it helps you feel more at home in your body. But if you're completely new to yoga, the most important thing is starting with the foundation. With over 28 years of teaching experience, I'll guide you step by step, offering clear instruction and thoughtful progression. All you need to do is press play. So if you're curious about yoga and you want to learn in a way that supports your body, your lifestyle, and to go at your own pace, I invite you to join Iyengar Yoga Basics. Click the link below to enroll today, and let's begin this journey together.